Welcome to the Din Don Show. I'm Din.
And I'm Don.
And we're
Here
here
for some fun. We're still working on that. Don't know why. We have an exciting show to talk to you about today. What is that show, Brother Din?
Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Cue the intro! I lost my pillow.
So yes, we're going to be talking about King of the Monsters today, and this is probably one of the, in my opinion, one of the best modern monster films to date so far. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I would agree. The show, I don't know what made it different. It was vastly different from the 2014 Godzilla that we got. There was a lot of pluses. Not as many cons that we had this time. A lot of pros. Not
we actually were talking about this just before the filming, and we were legitimately trying to think of cons.
Yeah,
and
it was really hard.
We were like, what else could we talk about? I can't think of anything. But no, seriously, it was a great movie.
Yeah,
a great monster movie.
So, quick intro. Put the timer in. So, King of the Monsters. It's a continuation from the from 2014 Godzilla, where wherever the monsters have been, they've noticed that there's been a change in the landscape. Like San Francisco is now covered in plants now, and they are attributing that to radiation being prevalent among the cities now. And so there's this theory that one of the characters, whose name is, I don't know, we're going to call her Mom for all intents and purposes, who believes that waking up the monsters is going to bring balance back to the world. And
how is that a good idea? No idea.
It's going to kill all of us because we're terrible people. And so she and her daughter, who is played by Eleven, who we will refer to as 11 for this because we don't remember her name, the two of them join hands with a vanilla eco-terrorist named the Terrorist, who...
named the Terrorist.
Which we're going to name him the Terrorist. This is my show. You can suck it. Who wants to set the world right by waking up all of the Titans, or at least two right now in this show.
Yeah, two, which ends up being all of them.
Which wakes up all of them. You've also got Dad, who we will name Dad, who is on his own, who studies the pack formations and wildlife of different animals. You also have a continuation of Dr. Serizawa, his British assistant, whose name forgets me. We will call her the Brit. And we, as well as a couple new characters, like the gray-haired guy, and that's the couple of extra characters we got.
Well, of course, there's a bunch of extra characters, especially in the base, the underwater base. But obviously, those are all really mainly side characters. They're not really 100% main characters. Right. They do survive to the end, but they're still technically side characters.
So how the story goes, though, is that you have Mom, Dad, and 11. They were in Boston when... No, it wasn't Boston. They were in San Francisco when Godzilla and the Muto fought each other, and their youngest son died in the... Or no, he was the oldest son, wasn't he?
No, I think he was actually the oldest.
Editing, didn't you tell me I'm wrong? Whose son died, and because of that death, both the parents grieved in different ways, and eventually it led to a divorce. Mom here, she decided that she was going to try and study the monsters to help her bring closure, whereas Dad went off and studied animals and left the family for some reason. We don't know the whole story behind that.
He did become an alcoholic at one point.
Oh, that's right, he did.
And that's really why he left, from what we understand.
Or he was kicked out.
We don't 100% know. But in the end, he does eventually, obviously in the movie, come back because the Mom and 11 were kidnapped by the eco-terrorists.
Right after they woke up one of the most beautiful monsters ever, Mothra. Mm-hmm. Even in caterpillar form, we love her very much. So the eco-terrorists kidnap her. They tell Dad, the Serizawa gets in contact with Dad, and they are trying to find a way to find her again. and they realize that Godzilla is also on the hunt too, because he knows something is wrong. Now, this is one of the first cool things. Well, we'll get there in a minute. Long story short, they find Mom, the terrorist, and 11 in Antarctica, where they're going to wake up a three-headed dragon named Gedorrha, one of the most favorite monsters of all. In the plan to try and set balance back to the Earth. Of course, that goes wrong because Gedorrha wakes up, kicks Godzilla's butt in the beginning, and proceeds to travel across the world and awaken the different monsters. Of course, with the help of the terrorists after they woke up Rodan.
Yeah, so like they first woke up Rodan, however you want to
Rodan. It's Rodan.
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 But after that Rodan was awoken, Gedorrha totally pummels Rodan into the ground and basically is like, "Hey, guess what? I'm your alpha now." And Rodan's like, "Okay."
And so Gedorrha is king of the monsters.
Gedorrha is king of the monsters at this point, and that's when Gedorrha is starting to wake up every single monster across the world, and the eco-terrorists and Mom are starting to realize, oh crap, we done messed up. Well, at least the Mom thinks that.
The eco-terrorist, he's a terrorist. He doesn't care, as terrorists do. But then Dad, Dr. Serizawa, and everybody on Team Godzilla, they realize that Gedorrha is a false king. He's not from this Earth, and we don't know that story, but Gedorrha in the past has been an alien from a different planet, and they realize that the only way for this to end and to stop is for them to kill King Gedorrha, which in the beginning they try to do it with the Oxygen Destroyer, which if you remember from the first Godzilla, that's a reference to the Oxygen Destroyer that they killed Godzilla with.
Yeah, no, that was a bad idea. You almost killed Godzilla.
Yeah.
Like, almost literally killed Godzilla to the point, like, he literally had...
That's right. That's why he lost his energy. That's right.
That's why he goes down to the center, near the center of the Earth.
Because we messed up.
We done messed up.
Oh. Dang. Anyway, continue.
And then as he goes down to the center of the Earth, Dr. Serizawa was like, well, we need Godzilla back, so guess what? We're going to go after him and figure out how to help him. We're gonna put him in a microwave and we're gonna nuke him. Basically.
I hate that joke so much, but I love it. Did you just make that up right now?
Yeah.
Dude, I love that.
I basically juice him up.
Juice him up. They put him on nuclear steroids.
Quite literally. Unfortunately, Dr. Serizawa dies in the process because, unfortunately, he had to go out and sacrifice himself to bring Godzilla back. It was a noble sacrifice.
We'll never forget you, Dr. Serizawa.
Let them fight.
Oh,
sorry.
So they supercharge Godzilla. He comes up. He's juiced. He's now thermonuclear because all that radiation from that warhead,
or at least about to go thermonuclear.
Yeah, he's primed and charged and ready to barge. He is ready to go, and so. They're able to... 11 realizes her mom's wrong, is able to attract King Gedorrha with...
the Orca.
With the Orca, which we didn't explain. We'll get to that later. We'll explain what the Orca is. Then Gedorrha and Godzilla fight. And then Mom, Dad, and 11 all meet up together. Mom then sacrifices herself to save her family, and then Godzilla ends up eating Gedorrha after going thermonuclear.
Yep, pretty much.
That's the synopsis. You can watch the movie for the actual story. Now, what did we like?
All right, what did we like? Oh my gosh, like that's probably the biggest question. Like, what didn't we like about the movie? That's like seriously, because one of the most things that I really really liked about the movie is they actually showed the more animalistic side of Godzilla.
Yes.
The fact that they show he has a territory, he has general routes of a natural predator, of a natural born protector of his own zone, Earth.
Yeah.
And so, and then he also shows off a threat display with his spikes,
where they glow in the water, and that was one of the coolest scenes.
That was really
cool.
Man. That was a really cool scene. I really appreciated that they did that. And that's definitely one of my absolutely favorite scenes. And the fact that he becomes super territorial towards King Gedorrha. Which, of course, why wouldn't he be? Because King Gedorrha is an alien, like we said.
Mm-hmm. It's a threat to his territory. It was just super cool to see that. Another big thing, that's the nail on the head, pretty much the whole thing. There were monsters in this movie. There were monster fights in this movie. For crying out loud, that's what we were complaining about in the 2014 Godzilla.
Yeah, like in that Godzilla, there was almost no Godzilla. Oh, but we only saw Mutos. Now we get tons of Godzilla and tons of monsters.
And the original monsters, which I appreciated in 2014. They want to do something new, something different.
There's... Finish?
But I was happy to see the reimagined new monsters. Go ahead.
The only thing that I was actually upset about is they didn't have Anguirus in there.
Oh, that's true. Because so fun fact, Anguirus, from something I saw, he was the second kaiju ever in the Godzilla series.
And he is an original kaiju.
Yeah, he is.
He is one of the most original kaijus that we had, that the original Godzillas had. So why didn't they have him in there?
Well, I thought they would have. Well, I don't know, because I feel like Anguirus, while he's the second made kaiju. I don't think he's the most memorable, though, and I think part of that.
I would disagree with that. But
you remember him, but do you remember the battles he's been in?
No, that's true.
Do you remember what movie he is in?
Mm-mm.
So, but you can remember Godzilla versus Mecha King Ghidorah. You can remember Godzilla versus Space Monster, Monster X,
and Destroya.
Or Destroya. You can remember Godzilla versus Rodan. You can remember Godzilla versus Mothra. Those are like, I'd say, Mothra, Rodan, and Ghidorah are probably the three most popular monsters in the Godzilla universe.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I know Destroya is very popular. I know Anguirus, Gigan, Megalon. Well, not even Megalon. I didn't know about Megalon until this year, or a couple years ago. But those are the three who I would say are the most popular. So of course they would want to include them. Plus they're in so many Godzilla movies together. All three of them.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so. But it's just a good monster movie. Gray hair guy. We love this guy. He's super funny.
He was great. His one-liners were perfect. Honestly,
he's annoying at times, but we love you, gray-haired guy. We'll give you a kiss from the pillow. Humans are more personalized. We really liked that. It wasn't just like vanilla Ford, which I did like Ford, but he wasn't just angsty military ordnance removal guy trying to get back to his wife. These characters had a little bit more of a life, had a little bit more of a motive, and maybe not more of a motive, but they had more of a history. They were more human. You understood them and related to them more.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about that blue fire though?
Yeah, that blue fire was great.
And I mean, I in 2014, I'm stuttering. In 2014, that Godzilla. It was cool to see the blue fire reimagined, but it was just more like a ghost flame. It wasn't the typical electric fire.
Yeah, in 2014, it was the best way to explain it, in my opinion, was like a flamethrower.
Yeah,
it wasn't like a beam in the traditional Godzillas.
No, and I liked that they electrified it, that they made it big, that his eyes glue. I mean, it was just cool to see that again.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, great. And they still used the beginning of the tail charging up to the rest of the back. I love that they kept that.
Yeah. So good.
Great. Nerding out here. #nerd out.
Yeah, we were fanboying out so hard.
What's the next one?
Slimmer. Godzilla.
Oh yeah, Godzilla went on a diet.
He worked out, man. He freaking worked out.
2014, he had freaking thunder thighs.
He was big boy.
But this one, they actually slimmed him down, made him actually look more lizard-like, at least for the bottom half.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't more like an elephant.
And so, which was I'm actually really more appreciative of, because why 2014 elephant?
I don't know.
Anyways,
we still liked it, but I mean,
yeah.
We do like this version of Godzilla more. And then I think our last thing we liked. Oh, we got two other things. We'll bring the other one up in the concerns a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's like half a concern.
Right.
And then Godzilla's roar wasn't. It sounded like the traditional Godzilla sound. In the 2014 one, it was cool when he roared, but it just sounded a lot more
machine.
It was a lot more grindy, noisy. There was more of a grinding sound to him, and it worked, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I liked how they kind of went back to the original Godzilla sound like, whilst trying to make it sound updated. So, but that's just a small little thing. Okay, on to the concerns. Title here, concerns. This one's kind of like a pro, and this is like something we liked, and a concern was the alpha frequencies.
Yeah, no, the alpha frequencies that the Orca admitted, it was...
What's the Orca? You gotta explain that.
Okay, yeah, so the Orca. The Orca is basically a device that literally emits alpha frequencies, that literally has taken all the frequencies from man, Godzilla, other monsters, because they all emit a specific frequency that they can track and monitor and stuff like that.
And communicate with, too.
And so, and this Orca is actually designed to help, basically... It's supposed to be designed to help contain the monsters and help like keep them docile, but they totally ended up taking that and making it
and using it as a weapon.
Using it as a weapon.
So that hashtag eco-terrorist comes in.
Yes.
The terrorist. What I liked about it was consistency. I liked the consistency of seeing how the Mutos would use echolocation to communicate with each other, and even when they were together, and you could see them speaking and talking with each other, and even Godzilla himself emitted some sort of sound, sort of sound wave that would communicate him. And in this one, they took that idea and fleshed it out more, saying that every creature gives off some sort of hum, some sort of sound to show who they are, their dominance, what their territory is. And of course that's the big thing that they use to control the monsters, except for Godzilla, because Godzilla doesn't obey the alpha frequency.
No, he doesn't. He's his own. He does his own thing.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing, because they took sounds of different monsters and humans, but yet Godzilla doesn't obey it, and or maybe he's fighting against it. I don't know. But Gedorrha is the one that's mostly affected by it, and of course that's how 11 is able to get to Fenway Park and attract him there. But you have a concern, Din. What was your concern?
It was more along the lines of them controlling the monsters. I didn't really like that. How it would control the monsters, how it would keep them docile. I feel like we shouldn't be they shouldn't be able to do that in the first place.
They shouldn't try and control nature.
Yeah, they shouldn't be able to control. They shouldn't try. They shouldn't even be able to at that point, because Mother Nature has shown, and then they show it in this time and time again. When you try and control Mother Nature, she fights back 10 times harder.
What was the name of the commenter who said that if we don't like not a lot of Godzilla, to not watch Godzilla?
Wosif.
So Wosif, I really appreciate your comment. Thank you so much for that. I have seen a little bit of Godzilla vs. Megalon, and it was more of a Jet Jaguar video. I'll comment to you someday about it.
I think I actually have seen it. I just don't remember. But I think I'm starting to remember it now.
Yeah. So we're gonna kind of be a little hypocritical now. While we loved that there was more Godzilla and more monsters, at times we feel like that maybe the characters were a little more flat, I guess. We said that they were fleshed out. They had stories. They had histories. They had some form of motivation that made you go, "Oh, I feel that." But you kind of had an issue that they weren't fleshed out as much. Why don't you explain that?
Yeah, no, I don't think they were fleshed out enough. I feel like, honestly, they really I don't know. Through the whole movie, whenever I watched any of the humans or any of the people, there was just always something missing. Something wasn't filling the story.
They seemed more superficial.
Yeah, no, exactly.
They were superficial. So they didn't. It wasn't like they were just kind of like put person here, like in 2014 Godzilla, put Ford here. He's something to move the story along. These were just kind of we have this character and this character and this character. They were just kind of stamps of just kind of very superficial people. I mean, there are times where Dad, he kind of frustrated me because I just kind of felt like he got angry too quickly.
Yeah.
Or I felt like that mom, while I see what her point was in wanting to wake up the monsters,
was a little bit extreme.
She was a little bit extreme, but I think at times it's just I didn't feel like I believed her enough.
No, I totally agree with that.
So, yeah, and maybe that's where a little bit of the acting is, and maybe it's not so much that we wanted more of the human element in it. We wanted more of just to see the characters really love the character, I guess, or the actor loved the character. But
we're not saying that was the case. Like, at least I don't want to say like that. Like the actors didn't love their characters, but that's how they portrayed it.
Yeah, and so
except for Dr. Serizawa.
Yeah, we love Dr. Serizawa. Never forget Serizawa. You probably already know this. How the heck does Godzilla stand in the water?
The scene where he's coming up and he's blowing his atomic breath to the sky.
How does he stand?
You have to remember, they went down about a couple thousand feet down.
Yeah, and it's just, and the only thing I could think of is that it's his tail. That he's just stuck it down on the ground and he's just buoying around in the water. But even then, it doesn't make... Is he an earthbender? Did he just raise the earth up beneath him?
It makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It really makes no sense how they did that. And I've seen so many memes regarding this. There's one where like he just has super long legs all of a sudden.
Oh, jeez.
There's one where he suddenly has an iceberg underneath him. There was one where he was sitting on the corpses of the fallen monsters or that he's killed in the past or something like that. But there's so many memes, and it's like, that seems cool and all, but not realistic at all.
Yeah, it was weird. Whatever. And then this was something I brought up. Now, I did like the ending of Godzilla. I like how Godzilla went thermonuclear. What I didn't like, though, and actually didn't help me realize this, I kind of felt like that Godzilla going thermonuclear and destroying Gedorrha by basically, what's the word? Disintegrating him, was a little cheap. And I don't know, it just, because I mean, a lot of times, Godzilla, it's the typical thing. Godzilla comes to a fight. You think he's big and strong. He gets his butt kicked. He comes back later, somehow outsmarts it, maybe has help, which Mothra does come and help, and Mothra does help too, because you hear the spirit of Mothra, whenever he pulsates the energy out. But, I don't know, I would have liked to have seen, before Godzilla, like blew him up, like, got Gedorrha.
Yeah, like
to
totally,
a pulp.
like beat him to a pulp, and then Gedorrha does his like a last ditched effort, and then he goes through him, and be like, no.
So that's how we would have rewritten the story, but
and then
we're not rich.
On top of that, to add on that, to go one step further, there was one thing that I had a really big concern with, and that's honestly Godzilla going thermonuclear. Not that part, but how much damage he did to King Gedorrha. Because in past Godzillas and in the old Godzilla, there's such thing as a Mecha King Gedorrha, where they take the corpse of Gedorrha and create Mecha King Gedorrha.
Yeah.
But the problem is, as far as I can tell, King Gedorrha is pretty much disintegrated for the most part.
Except for a head.
Which we see at the ending credits, which leads us to believe Mecha King Gedorrha will come into the future.
Yeah, or some form of Gedorrha. Whether they try to clone him, and maybe they are able to clone him so much, and they just use mechanical parts to finish the rest of him, so that they can control him. Here's the other thing, though. Just because we see, if a head survived, other pieces of Gedorrha could have survived too.
No, and that's actually true. That is actually very, very true. Because, like, if you look here in the picture, like, Don pointed this out earlier, which was... a lot of the body of King Gedorrha is metal. Yeah. It's metal wings, metal body, a metal head, sometimes two metal heads, and depending on the artist. And so at that point, it makes me wonder how they're going to do it. That's if they do it. So, and I really hope they do.
Yeah. So, but we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. There are a couple things we've thought about the future movies that might come out of Godzilla, but
you will have to wait for that
till next time, baby.
Until we do a Kong versus Godzilla prediction video.
That's coming up sometime soon. But until then, if you like this show, consider putting a like and liking the show and subscribing, hitting that bell for when our shows come on more. Leave us comments, suggestions, jokes, cripes, complaints, whatever. We'll listen to you. We might not care, but we'll listen to you. No, we care. We really do care. And thank you to all of our subscribers out there.
Yeah, thank you to your subscribers, to all the commenters, like Stuff, like we mentioned today. Just thank you very much. We appreciate you guys. And
Until next time, I'm Don.
And I'm Din.
And we've been here for the win.